Thank you for joining me this evening. It is the 2nd of March 2023. My name is Alice Chant and I'm Head of Student Operations at Command Shift. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about our March cohort, which will be starting on the 27th. I will be going through the curriculum. I will be talking to you about career aspects, answering any questions that you may have around the course, and I will then be being joined by two students about 7 o'clock, about 6:45, 7. I'll have two students joining me and they'll be telling you all about their experiences with us and how they found learning with Command Shift. If you have any questions throughout, please feel free to ask away. I may answer them as we go along or may save them for the end, just if it is sort of relevant to what we're talking about at the time. This is going to be a recorded session. So if you are unable to watch the whole thing or you'd like to catch up on it afterwards, it'll be available on the Command Shift YouTube page. But yes, any questions, like I said, feel free to ask away. I am here to help and hopefully we'll get some applications from some of you watching today. So who we are. We were established in 2017 and we were one of the world's first part-time coding boot camps. We have 27 tutors who teach with us and over 200 people have graduated with us. So that's career changers, people from all different walks of lives. We have students that learn from us with sort of backgrounds within retail, nurses, teachers, and we have all different people who come and join and choose to study with us. We have an 89% graduate employment rate, which I will go through in a bit more detail later on. And we are 100% remote. So we did used to be an in-person school until COVID. We are no more. We are 100% remote. So we do get asked that question a lot. So yes, everything is taught online. And we have students who learn with us across the UK because everything is taught online. So why choose us? We have been running this course now for 5 years. It's nearly 6 years, but this is what we do. This is what we do really, really well. We just have this one bootcamp course. We haven't got loads of other different courses. We just have this one course that we do really, really well with a curriculum that is constantly changing and that we're adapting towards employers' needs. And it's sort of always changing to sort of fit in with the times. We have a 1-to-7 teaching ratio, so this is one of the industry best. What that means is in your larger class setting, there will be one tutor for every 7 students, which is great because it means you're not constantly fighting for attention to ask questions. It means you have a really nice personal experience as well. Everyone gets to know each other. You get to know your tutors really well, which is really nice. And we have industry expertise. So all of our software developers, our tutors are software developers in their day job. So they aren't just teachers, they are software developers. They live and breathe this. They're so passionate and they're so passionate about getting people into tech as well, which is why a lot of them come and join us. We are value for money, so we are one of the lower price courses, but that isn't sort of reflected within the quality of the content that we put out. We do just want to make this course as accessible for everyone as we possibly can. And the course is really shaped by you. So obviously it being a part-time course, you are able to sort of choose when you then put your extra time in for your hours. We have 2 lessons a week, but then the rest of the time is sort of shaped by you. What you put into this course really is what you will get out of it. And it is project-led learning, so it is an exam-based course. It is all projects, so we will work with you to help and develop your skills and help you become a better developer. We'll talk you through where you're sort of getting things right, where you may be getting things wrong, and we'll help you learn and adapt to become the best developer that you can be. So the course itself, Joe, I have seen the questions that you have asked. I will go through those in a little bit with you. But it's 28 weeks in length with 26 weeks of teaching. So we are one of the slightly longer part-time courses, which just means you get more value for money by that. But how the sort of course is split is it's part-time with 12 hours of face-to-face support a week. So how we sort of do that is you have 2 classes a week, so 6:30 until 9:30. If you were to join us on our next bootcamp, which is starting in on the 27th of March, your lessons will be on Mondays and Wednesdays. So you'll have a lesson every Monday every Wednesday, 6:30 until 9:30. They wouldn't change throughout the course. We would recommend that if those times don't suit you, then this may not be the right course for you, and it may be the next boot camp that you were to choose to join. So they always alternate days. So this one will be Monday, Wednesday, and then we have a course that will be starting around May time. That one will be Tuesday and Thursday lessons. So they always alternate. So if you have a commitment, you have to work late on a Monday, we'd say go to the next one. If you have work late on a Tuesday, join the March one. Oh, I've lost my thing. Okay. And a Saturday drop-in session. So this is 6 hours of support from our tutors, a really great opportunity to come speak to other people on the course, speak to the tutors, and get to know, get any problems that you may be going through answered, any questions answered. 20 hours of self-study. So all in all, we say it's around 25 hours of learning a week, so 26 hours of learning a week on top of your sort of full-time commitments, or if you have a full-time role. So we do say to really think about it. Can you dedicate the time? Are you able to really sort of give 6 months of your life to this course really passionately, and just do everything you can really to, I guess, make the most out of it? So it's a question that we will ask you when you make an application, and it's just something to think about. That is, have you got any work commitments at the moment that are going to make you sort of not be able to do this? If the answer is no, then you will definitely be able to succeed and do really well. So the schedule itself, the course is, I guess it's sort of broken down into 3 areas, I always say. So you have foundations and building blocks, which is sort of like a core modules. You'll then have a 1-week teaching break before you move on to back end, which is 6 weeks of learning. And then you have another week off before you move on to front end, final projects, and then careers and graduation. So a quick run through of our curriculum and what you'll learn with us. So during foundations, this is sort of the module that will help you build a really solid foundation to build upon for the rest of the course. So it's 4 weeks, really hands-on, and you'll be really encouraged to think creatively and experiment with your learning. It's a really good introduction to us. I guess it's really sort of led by you, and I guess being creative, getting to know the team, and getting to know the other students on the course. But here you'll be introduced to Git, GitHub, CSS, and HTML before we move on to building blocks. So in the building blocks module, you'll build a fundamental understanding of programming, including best practices such as test-driven development and writing clean code. There's no back-end or front-end concepts during this sort of 10 weeks of the course. It is really sort of building those skills that you'll then take on for the rest of your career as a developer. And you'll also be introduced to JavaScript and Jest at this point of the course. You'll then have obviously a 1-week break before you move on to backend. So the majority of major websites and applications are powered by backend. So this isn't what's visible to look at when you go onto a website, but it's sort of all the data, the driving force behind a user experience. So in this 6-week module, you'll learn how to create and interact with your own database-driven backend applications. So these are the sort of technologies that you'll learn here. And obviously throughout the course, you'll be creating projects and putting what you're learning into best practice and into practice creating different projects, websites, applications, and things like that. Before you move on to front end. So front end is the part of the application that you see and interact with. So being on YouTube, that is the front end, and then the back end will be everything else that's sort of powering the website. In this module, you'll learn how to create a fully interactive experiences that connect to a back end and together serve as a full stack web application. So we predominantly teach React in this module, and React powers websites like Facebook and Instagram, and is one of the most in-demand technologies in the industry at the moment. So this is sort of what's great about our course is we are able to sort of find the technologies that our employers are looking for and like we said are really in demand, and update our courses with that. Before you move on to final projects, so in the final 3 weeks of the course, you'll work in a group of 2 to 4 people on a project of your own choosing. So this is an opportunity to really consolidate your learning so far and also to push yourself further and learn new technologies. So the first 3 weeks of this module are teaching weeks with all class time dedicated towards helping you finish your projects and your group presentation. The final projects we've had in the past, we've had so many amazing ones. I think my favorite one that I've ever seen was we had a couple of students that created an AI chatbot that was able to speak to teenagers about mental health struggles. So creative, looked fantastic. I was really impressed how much work that they put into it. They also researched and found other tools and technologies to use on the app. And one of the students actually then ended up getting a role within AI because of that project that they created. And they're now working as like an AI developer, which is really cool and really nice to see. But you can be really creative with the final projects. A lot of the course you can be really creative, and that's what a lot of the students sort of say is when they get to this part of the course that they really enjoy is the creativity. So after the final project, you then followed up by a careers workshop, and then you have your graduation. So employability. So this is sort of, I guess, one of the biggest parts of the course, and I guess for most people who are coming into this as a career changer and what you want to become as a junior software engineer, or you'd like to become a developer, this is obviously a really big thing. And we offer 100% career service. That's a really embarrassing picture of me. But we do this by doing CV and portfolio reviews and guidance. So a technical CV is probably quite different to the CV that you would have you applying for, I don't know, say if you're working in an assistance role or a personal assistant role, your CV would be so different to the CV that you would have as a developer. So we'll help you create a developer CV. We do interview and technical test help, so preparation. We'll work with you, staying in contact with us, and we'll sort of help you decide what sort of approach you want to go through with your interviews. We'll help you with your technical tests. We do social media help. So we really encourage our students to use social media to really get yourself out there. Networking is absolutely huge within the tech industry, and also a really good way to find different career or to find the right job opportunity for you. Obviously, there's so many companies and there's so many roles, and networking is a really good way to sort of hone in on what sort of industry you might want to go into within tech. We do company introductions, so we're partnered with organisations across the UK who are regularly hiring our students and would like our students to work for them. And we do lunch and learn sessions, so we do things around negotiating your salary, job sourcing through LinkedIn, imposter syndrome, all different things really that you may not even use once you're on the bootcamp, but things that you will use then later in your career within tech. But just really great skills. The lunch and learn sessions are as well available for everyone. We do have one on the 7th of March with a company that we're partnered with called Grace. So if you're watching this before the 7th of March, I would say to tune into that. It'll be a really good insight into, I guess, a little bit more about what the day-to-day life of a software developer is. So I would tune in if you can. We also do a dedicated and personal career guidance, as well as a lifetime access to our job seekers network. So I guess this is, again, where it comes into the courses shaped by you, will help you and work with you to sort of get the best from the course and get what you want from it and find the right role for you and find the right opportunity. And these are some of the amazing companies our students are working for at the moment. So we've got students working in companies like Google, IBM, Booking.com, BBC. So obviously they're all the really big names, but then some students go for something a little bit different and they may work for a startup or a more independent company. We get people working with digital agencies. It's really sort of down to you what sort of path you go down, and we will help and support you to do whatever you like, really, to some extent, obviously, as a software developer. Payment options. So we do have a couple of different ways you can pay for the course. So there is an upfront option, so that would be £6,000 paid upfront once you've completed an application form. We have a 24-month interest-free finance option as well. So this is a £600 deposit. The deposit we can do in PayPal Pay in 3 and Klarna as well for that option. So there's a couple of different ways you can pay your deposit. And then it's a 24-month installment of $225 starting from the 1st of every month. So if you were to join for the course on the 27th of March, your first £225 payment would come out on the 1st of April. But if you have any questions about the financing you don't want to ask on here, please feel free to get in contact with me, as I will be able to help you with that, because I know you want to make sure you're making the right decision for you. There's also the option of paying a larger deposit and paying less every month, but really we can sort of help and work with you on that as well. So the course prerequisites is the intro course. So Joe, I think this is sort of in line with a question that you asked. We do make sure everyone has to complete the intro course before they start. So it's 20 to 25 hours worth of learning. It's also a really good introduction to us as a school, I guess our tone of teaching, and it will just show you what we're all about. But we do ask for everyone to have completed that before you start, not necessarily before you apply, but just before you start the course. And just have to have basic numeracy skills, fluency in English, and then a Mac OS X or a Linux system. This is another big one. So when you are applying, we will ask you what sort of laptop you use. If you have any questions about that, if you're looking to get a new laptop, you want to know anything else about that, what sort of will be the best equipment to use for the course, please feel free to get in touch and we'll be able to help you there. And then how to apply. It's really, really easy. It's just apply online. If you have signed up for today, then we will email out an application form to you. If not, if you go onto our website, there is a big button in the top right-hand corner that says apply. So just feel free to click onto that. And yeah, you will be able to put an application form in, and then you'll schedule a phone call or a Google Meet, and it'll either be with myself or Joe. This isn't a test or an interview, this call. It's just like a really nice, friendly conversation about just about you, and just finding out what you're sort of doing the course for, and to make sure it's the right fit for you, an opportunity for you to ask us any questions. So it's nothing to worry about. It's just very friendly and lighthearted. And then you will complete your onboarding by filling out your onboarding form, which is where you'll pay your deposit or course fee. And then we will send a finance application if that's what you choose to do. And then you're on board. So it's a very simple process. Once you put an application form in, we'll send you an email, arrange a call, and then we'll hopefully get you signed up. So the next course is the 27th of March. Lessons on Mondays and Wednesdays. If anyone has any questions about that, I will go through them. But I do have my two lovely helpers with me now that I'm going to bring in. So I have Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hello, how are you? Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Good. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. I've just been doing some back-end stuff today, so
Nice.
Syntax errors here and there, but on the whole, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Good. And I also have Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello, Lisa.
Thank you.
Hello, Rob.
So, Rob and Lisa, I'm going to ask them some questions. If anyone who's watching has any questions that they would like to ask, feel free to pop those in the comment section, and we'll go through them. And Joe, I know you have wrote a couple of comments, and I will get back to you on those as well. So I'm going to start with Rob, just because you're next to me. So I guess just for a bit of context, what are you doing at the moment, and why did you choose Command Shift, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been a bit of a career nomad. I've worked in retail, hospitality, radio. I'm currently a press officer. And someone suggested when I was looking for work that I give coding a try. So I did that in 2019, and I've been doing HTML and CSS on and off since then. I've gotten really good at it, actually. I'm happy with that. But then I got to the point in my current job where I went for a promotion and I didn't get it. And then I was like, okay, it's time to take coding a bit more seriously. And if I don't do it now, when will I do it? So that seemed like the opportune time to really take my career shift seriously and join Command Shift. And the reason I joined Command Shift is because the people sold me on the course to other bootcamp tasters, and they just weren't the same. They were pushy. They didn't feel like my people. And what I mean by that is friendly people that want you to succeed. That's what we're all like in the cohort. And I genuinely look forward to meeting up with these people that I'm beginning a network with. So yeah, that's why I joined Command Shift.
Great, that's a very nice answer, and I'm glad you said that I wasn't pushy. I do.
Absolutely not. No, you and Joe are fantastic.
It's such a massive decision joining a boot camp, which I think is why we never do that pushy thing. It's such a huge decision. It's a big, it costs a lot of money, so we never want to, I guess, push something into somebody into something that might not be right for them.
I will say as well, when you realize that you've signed up and you've taken that plunge, you get excited. There's a buzz. It's like, okay, I'm doing something. I'm making a change in my life. So yeah, can't recommend it enough.
Oh, that's very nice to hear. I don't know whether you just answered this, but I guess why. Oh yeah, you did answer why that. So how have you found the course so far, and sort of your experiences? I don't know if you wouldn't mind saying like where you're up to on the course and how your journey has been so far.
I've done foundations. I finished like 6 weeks ago, maybe less than that. I can't remember now, but yeah, we're doing backend at the moment. So that is databases, APIs, and if I'm speaking a foreign language, it's still foreign to me times two. So that's where I am. What was the rest of the question? Sorry.
And just sort of how you found the experience,
Oh, okay.
like, yeah, just any, I guess, just from, I guess, learning yourself in that sort of self-taught route into a bootcamp structure, like how you found that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny to say this, but when I was learning on my own, I didn't speak about code out loud. And having a community of teachers and a cohort to talk to, you really realize where your shortcomings might have been, for me anyway. So being able to have those conversations, being able to help people solve a problem, help people help me solve a problem, that's been fantastic. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. I feel like I've missed something else off your question as well, but I can't remember what it was now.
I guess just like how you found the experience,
Yeah. That was
sort of like the day to day, how I always think it's good sort of like insight how you manage your time,
okay,
how
yeah.
you, I guess, how you've adjusted to, because it is like, we don't shy away from the fact that it's a boot camp, it is going to be quite intensive, and I guess just how you've managed that.
Don't suffer in silence is what, it's a phrase that goes around a lot. And but why that? I mean, if you're stuck on a problem, you might feel alone, you might be alone, but you're not alone. Stay on it for half an hour and then ask for help, because as soon as someone tells you what might be wrong with your code, that just weight comes off your shoulders, and it's like, okay, now I can move on to the next thing. Also, be kind to yourself. You are taking on a massive learning curve. I wouldn't even call it a curve. It's more like a 90-degree angle. But be kind to yourself, because you're learning so much, and you'll look back really quickly at how far you've come. So yeah, for me, I'm getting used to asking questions more, because that's something I didn't do when I was learning by myself. Asking questions really helps you. Just taking the time to, like I say, document your progress, because that's going to help you when you look back on it.
That's a good tip. No, that's really helpful. And do you have any other tips for new students, or anyone who's thinking of joining us? Is there anything you didn't do beforehand that you wish you'd done, or?
Well, you don't just get the boot camp with Command Shift, you get a lot of help to take you from code newbie to employed in tech. And by that, I mean you get advice on how to sell yourself as a developer, which has been invaluable to me. I was on a course a few weeks ago that you recommended, actually, and it really helped align my GitHub and my LinkedIn profile, so I looked attractive to an employer. And that is something I wouldn't have done by myself. So definitely that's valuable too. I keep forgetting parts of your question now. There was something else, but I forgot what it was.
Just any tips that you have, anything, I guess, you wish you'd done before the course.
Okay.
Would, if you could speak to yourself like 3 months ago or 4 months ago before you started,
I'd have told myself to do it sooner. I would have told myself to do it sooner. Why am I delaying my education here? Let's just do it quickly. Yeah. What would I have done before? I would have looked at the curriculum, and then I would have gone and found YouTube videos or something like that, or little tasters of things I was about to learn. That's what I would have done in hindsight. I would also have taken the opportunity to speak to more cohorts from previous rounds, because they've just walked the path you're going down, so they are going to have come across the problems that you did, and then you get to build up the community again. It's all about community at Command Shift, and that's what I love about it.
Good, cool. Rob, you're great on Twitter and LinkedIn, may I add.
Thank you very much.
If you wouldn't mind, I don't know if you want to plug your like LinkedIn and Twitter here, just so anybody, I'm sure if anybody's watching, you'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Actually, I'll plug Twitter first. It's Rob Codewords. It's called Rob Codewords because I also heard a Codewords podcast where I talk to developers from all around the world about their journeys. And the latest one on there is actually with 2 other guys from the bootcamp about our first 10 weeks and how we found it. So I'd recommend that as well. I think my LinkedIn is linkedin.com/RJ Robbie. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, check out codewords.page and have a listen, because it's really insightful if you're thinking about doing it.
It's very insightful. No, it is really good. I would definitely recommend it. I can put it into the comment section of this YouTube later, so if anyone wants to listen to that.
Just going back to something you said a moment ago, I would say managing your time is a skill you pick up as well. I have the fortunate fortune of working from home, so I don't have to do the 9 to 5 in an office or whatever and then come back and do it. But I know so many people on the course that do that, and I'm in awe of these people. They balance their daily lives, they balance children, they balance all that other stuff, and they still come into the lectures and the breakout sessions and have something to say. So I applaud those people.
It is admirable. It is very hard work. And I think having that determination, end goal is massive. And like a big piece of advice I give to people is you want to become a software developer and just keep that in your mind the whole way through. But no, thank you, Rob. I'm sure I'll come back to you in a bit, but I will hand over to Lisa now. Oh, hello, Lisa. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Thank you for joining us this evening. So I guess just again, I will ask you similar questions. Just like a bit of insight into what you were doing before and sort of why you decided to do the course would be great.
Yeah. So I, quite a lot of years ago, was working as a maths teacher in a secondary school. And I think I decided a while ago I didn't want to do that anymore. And I had 4 years off from teaching when I had my children. And I was like, right, I need to go back into the work environment. What do I want to do? And decided I definitely did not want to go back into teaching full time. And I thought long and hard about it. Probably thought too long because, like Rob said, I wish I'd done this sooner. But yeah, I decided that because I'd had a bit of experience coding in my degree at university, not this sort of coding. It was like coding maths equations and stuff like that, problem solving. But I really loved it. That was like, other than learning maths, that was like the number one thing I absolutely loved doing. So I decided that I wanted to do something with coding, and just basically search the internet to see how I could go about doing that, and came across Command Shift, and thought about it and you know, really made sure I definitely wanted to do it, and I'm so pleased I did. It's like, it was the best experience ever and absolutely loved every second of doing the course. And I was actually really, really sad when the course was coming to an end. But actually was really pleased because I got asked to become a tutor for the course. So I was like really pleased to, you know, stay in the community and actually then get to work with everyone else coming through the course. So I was really happy with that. So yeah, and I've got my first job in tech starting not until September, so it feels like ages away, and I want it to start now. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for that to start. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, over the moon with that. So yeah.
That was such a lovely explanation. I've got goosebumps a bit. That sounded so sweet and really sincere. We don't pay these people to say these nice things, by the way. It's up from the heart. But no, that's really nice to say, Lisa. Thank you. I guess so we do get quite a lot of parents who are thinking about doing the course, and we do get people or women who have been on maternity leave that are then career changing. How did you find that? And I guess managing your time, I think, is quite a good insight.
It was hard. I mean, I was lucky because I'd gone back into doing supply teaching, which is obviously very flexible, so I can work as many shifts as I want to. So I reduced my hours down to a few days a week, which helped. And my partner was extremely supportive. But yeah, even with that, like trying to juggle kids and work and family life, it is hard. I'm not going to lie. It was really hard. And I say this to other students when I talk to them, you know, you're trying to create, you know, an additional 20 odd hours in your working week or your life, actually. You know, nobody had 20 spare hours. Well, I doubt anyone had 20 spare hours of their life every week that there was just, you know, they weren't doing anything with. So yeah, it's got to come from somewhere. And I think it's just something to be aware of when you do it, because like you said, you know, we don't shy away from the fact that it is a commitment. But it is well worth it. Absolutely do it 100%. I wish I'd done this 2 years ago and I'd already be, you know, in my career now in tech instead of waiting.
I know. I'm very happy for you though. I'm happy that you got the job that you've got. And do you have any tips for anybody that's sort of thinking of joining the course? I guess, from a tutor and a student's perspective?
Ooh, yeah. I think it's definitely about, you definitely need to consider the time management. Is just think where you're going to get those hours from, and make sure you have a plan for that, really. On top of that, I would just say, if you do decide to do the course, just echo what Rob says, ask for help. This is why I chose this course, or one of the reasons I chose this course, because you have this community of tutors that are there that you can ask for help. And you've also got your cohort of other students with you, and they're there to support you as well. And, ask them for help as well. And it's the whole community of it. I was really into the fact that, you get to learn alongside other people instead of sat in your room by yourself trying to learn it by yourself. It's not the environment that was right for me. I like, other people to learn alongside, and you get that thrill together of like, oh, I've got this working, I've got it working, that sort of thing. It's like, it's an amazing. So yeah, definitely, if you do decide to do the course, ask for help, definitely, because it's what we're here for, and it's it's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think as well, like from experience, and just as somebody who isn't on the course or isn't a tutor, but what I see a lot of the time in like your cohort groups is people asking the similar questions as students helping other students and things like that. And what you were stuck on, somebody was probably stuck on half an hour before you, and it's just figured it out. But yeah, I think being vocal is a big thing. Like if you are struggling, or even if you do like taking it in your stride and you're doing really well, just like helping other people out. But no,
definitely.
that is
really helping other people is it makes life a lot easier. Just like you said, I was talking to a student, I think last night, and she was saying how that exactly what you said. She was stuck on something, and somebody else had exact same problem, and they put it in the channel, and it had been sorted. And she was like, "Great, that solution's there for me. I don't even need to ask for help because it's just waiting there for me," which is great. So it's a huge benefit.
Yeah, and everyone's in the same boat as well. Like I'm sure if you have a question that you want to ask, somebody else wants to ask it already. So like,
absolutely, I mean, definitely. There's always people that, they're the same. It does this. It's always the same questions that pop up, and there is. You would not be the only person stuck on that problem at all.
Good, thank you. So I am going to open the comments up. So if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask Rob and Lisa, I will go through the ones that have been asked already. So Joe has asked, I did partly answer this one earlier. So is it recommended to do other intro courses before the boot camp to make it less intense? So I always say to try and get as much in before as you can. There's no harm in doing that. Sort of look at, like, I guess similar to Rob said, look at the curriculum, look at what you're going to be learning, watch YouTube videos. Like if you work from home, maybe have it on in the background if you're able to, have it on in the car, just so you can listen to it. I think YouTube videos are great for learning more about technical language as well, and sort of speaking as a developer. That's really good. I don't know if there's anything you two have to add on that. Is there anything that you two did beforehand, I guess, other than sort of free code camp, code academy, that sort of thing?
I actually didn't, and I kind of do think, it would have been a good idea. I feel like I didn't want to go down the wrong path or confuse myself before the fact or anything like that. But actually, in retrospect, it probably would have been good to, have a look at JavaScript or HTML, CSS, that sort of thing beforehand, because I don't think it's going to hurt having a bit of a, knowledge of it before you start. Definitely,
I would say if you're going to watch a tutorial, don't watch it blindly. And by that, I mean, don't just follow along with the instructions, take notes and refer back to what your take is of that tutorial, because you can watch it and you can build it. But if you go and do it yourself, you're probably going to be lost. And you might have done that already, because I know I have. So that would be my hint.
All right, thanks both of you. Joe, you also asked what other start dates are there this year. So March 27th is the next one, so that's the only one we have enrollment open for at the moment. The following one will be May, not a confirmed date yet. We will probably be releasing that in the next couple of weeks. and that will have lessons on Tuesdays and Thursdays for that one. Alan, you asked, if you miss a day for any reason during the course, is this possible and how is this managed? Obviously appreciate that you may not be able to attend every lesson. We do ask you to attend as many lessons as possible and really make missing lessons like not a regular occurrence, as it is really easy to fall behind because the course is so fast paced. One week you'll be doing one thing and the next week that will be gone, and you may not speak about it again for a long time. So try not to make missing lessons a regular occurrence, but we do record the lectures, but you don't get, obviously, the breakout session afterwards. You don't get that time back. So if you do miss a lesson, make sure you then put the hours back into what you've missed, I would say. And Joe, you also asked, what's the oldest person you've had make it through the course? So Matt is one of our lovely tutors who did the course. I think Matt graduated just as I started, so about 2 years ago. I can't remember what job title he has now, but his name is Matt Edwards. I think he was 55 when he did the course, 54, 55. He's now one of our tutors. I think he's working like a senior developer position now. He's done really, really well, really took to the course. He had no issues when it came to finding a role. We've not had that as a problem in the past, but 55 is the oldest person who has done it and made it through. But yeah,
his lectures are fantastic, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
So good.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Matt. Yeah, no, he is really, really good. I remember when he rang me and told me that he got his first job, I was like, I nearly cried. I was very happy for him. Okay, we've got another question. Gillian, hello. Hi from Canada. So still exploring the job market and wondering how well students are doing after the boot camp. So I guess it's all dependent on where you're located. Obviously, Gillian, we've spoke a couple of times before. So there are lots of roles available at the moment. And our current statistics are we have an 89% employment rate for the student employability. Lisa, I don't know if you would, I guess, a bit of insight into how you found job hunting.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just took the approach of apply for anything that looked suitable. Yeah, if it suited me, I kind of applied for it. So if it was within the area or remote or hybrid that I could get to regularly enough, then I was like, yeah, bang, 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 put all the applications in. And a lot of them you don't hear from, which is fine, but you know, it doesn't hurt to do that. But then there was some academies that I applied for, and other things like that, and then the job I ended up getting with the BBC, that's their graduate scheme, which they do I think every year. Is that right, Alice? Yeah,
that's right.
So it was actually my first interview that I had. So yeah, it was quite nice and scary, but it actually went really, really well. But yeah, I think there's loads of jobs out there. I think there's the market's just screaming out for people from what I can see anyway.
Definitely. Thank you. Jenny just asked another question, so we'll just go to this one. I will go to yours after this, Kai. So was the BBC job an internship? Are you finding jobs are more local to Manchester? How is the remote market in the UK right now? So I can answer part of that. So the role isn't an internship, is it? No, it's just a full-time position.
It's a full-time position. It's a graduate scheme. So you do 2 years and you do 4 6-month rotations through different parts of the BBC. And they choose the first rotation for you, and then you get to choose the other 3 rotations. And then cool. Once I'm really excited to see what they've got. I can't wait to look at them. Some of them sound really cool. Yeah. And then after the 2 years, you automatically have a job with the BBC, which is a mid-level role, and you then get to choose which part of their company you want to work with, basically. So it just sounds amazing. So excited.
That is really
yeah.
Great, thank you. And I guess there's jobs across the UK. Like Manchester has a great tech hub. London, there's loads of opportunity. Leeds, there's roles across the UK. Scotland as well, there's lots of positions there. It's further down south, so I would say there's positions everywhere. And there are remote opportunities. So this is a tricky one. So I always say to juniors to never expect for your first position to be a remote role. And if it is a remote role and that's what you want, then that's great. But the remote roles there aren't as many remote roles, I would just say. A lot of the time, organizations would like you in there with the team, even if it's one day a month or something like that, just so you're either attending meetings or you are in, I guess, presence of people who are training you, senior software engineers. Being able to learn off other people is massive. So there are remote opportunities. There aren't as many remote opportunities as in-person or hybrid sort of roles. Most companies, I would say, are a hybrid sort of model. So you go in very, maybe some are a couple of times a week, or others are a couple of times a month, or a couple of times a quarter. What is it for the BBC? Is that just remote?
So it depends on where your rotation, who it's with.
Okay.
Apparently they all have different things.
Yeah.
I think it's minimum 1 day a week on site, and possibly 2 days. So for me, I am located in the northeast, and that's going to be in the northwest. So it's going to be getting there a couple of times a week potentially. But it's going to be worth it. So yeah.
And I think as well, you're right about it being dependent on team. So it's like a company will say as well that they're a hybrid model, but maybe that team only goes in once a week, or maybe they go in more than that or less. So it's very varied.
It is hugely, because some of them were like, you only need to be in once a month. And then others are like, it's hybrid, but actually for the first so many times you need to be in nearly every day. And it's like, okay, so it's just very varied on the things. There was a couple of academies that I think that are quite remote working.
I think again, they're all so BGSS and like Infinity Works and stuff like that are majority remote, but they may have a client that would like you on client site working in the academy. So they're all very different, I would say. Gillian, it's a bit of a hard question to answer, is what I would say.
Be flexible.
Yes, be flexible. I think for the first couple of years there was sort of being flexible is expected. And it's nice to work around a team, I think, as well. It's nice to work around senior developers and just sort of consolidate your learning. There's going to be lots of questions for the first 6 months to a year. Constantly having to message people about back and forth. It's a lot nicer being sat next to somebody. Okay, another question. Joe, what are the chances of AI taking over on human coders anytime soon? I can't answer that question if I'm being completely honest. I'm not sure. I don't think it's anytime soon, but I wouldn't want to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not an expert either, but I think that not soon. I think we're good for now.
I don't think Chat GPT is going to do all your work for you. Just saying.
The problem is Chat GPT can only do responding to queries. It can't, it can't do things that it's not programmed to do, if that makes sense. So it's what they're called. Is it narrow AIs they're called or something? Where
I'm not sure.
They've got they are AIs, but they only can do that's a specific task that they're programmed for. So like, when you see in all the movies and stuff, and the AIs are taking over, like the Matrix or whatever, they're the opposite of narrow AIs, where they can do everything and they can learn about everything and anything and do lots of functions.
Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So I think we're good for now, but I mean, don't quote me in 20 years' time. So.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed we're all right.
Yeah, Gillian just said congrats on the BBC.
Thank you very much. I'm absolutely buzzing.
Alan has asked, are your tutors generally people who teach the course more than once, or does this vary between cohorts? So the tutors that you have will vary depending on the part of the course you're on. So for core, so your first 10 weeks, you have a set of tutors for there. So Jenny is the module lead for that section. And then you'll have a range of tutors that will just teach you for that for sort of 10 weeks. You then have backend. So Dragos is the backend module lead, and then he has backend instructors that will teach you, and then front end you have Maria, who's the module lead, and then front end instructors. So you have the same sort of tutors and people helping you sort of for a long period of time, which is nice because you'll get to know them all really well, and they'll sort of be the same people that'll be helping you. And then these are the people that will be helping on Saturday sessions as well. But yeah, so it's sort of it's semi-consistent, I would say. It just sort of changes as you move through the course. I don't know if anyone else. Oh, Kai, sorry, I forgot to answer this question. What days and times are lessons throughout the week? So you have 2 lessons a week. If you were to join for March, your lessons would be Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 until 9:30. And then there's the optional Saturday session, which is a drop-in. And then if you were to join the one later in the year, it'd be Tuesdays and Thursdays. I hope that answers. I don't know if anyone else has anything else they'd like to ask. Rob and Lisa, you've been very, very helpful. I will just wait 10 seconds. I usually say this and then people send loads of questions through after I've ended the live. But we are taking applications now for March, so I would recommend you put these in as soon as possible so we can get talk to you about the course. Like I said, it's just a really friendly chat with me, or it'd be my colleague Joe, and we'll just ask you really just about sort of like what you're doing at the moment, what your sort of plans are, why you want to join the course, and then we'll just basically get you to ask any questions that you may have, and anything like that. Joe, you've asked when the next course after May is. I'm not 100% sure when that one will be, but they're around every 8 to 10 weeks. So I would say July, but I'm not 100% sure, and I wouldn't want to promise that. But yes, if you want to also email out, if you're watching this and you've signed up, if you are watching this afterwards, then just go over to Command Shift website and you will be able to sign up through the apply button and you'll get an email from me. But I don't know if anyone else has any other questions they'd like to ask. Gillian, thank you for your message. They've been very good advice from Rob and Lisa today, so it's been very helpful. But yeah, I will finish it there then. Thank you so much for joining us and watching. Like I said, head over to the Command Shift website if you're interested. Oh, I've had a question. I'll answer this one. Oh, okay. It's about artificial intelligence.
Is that a real question or artificial?
I think it's I'm not sure. I think, yeah. I think it's about, well, artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the way we approach complex problems and paving the way for a brighter, more efficient future. Yeah, it really is. It sort of helps me in my day-to-day for sure. But yeah, thank you for that comment. But thank you for joining us. If you have any questions for me or Rob or Lisa, then feel free to get in touch. Our Slack community is open for everyone. But yes, hopefully I will see some of you soon. Pop an application form in and we will organise a chat. Thank you, Rob and Lisa, and thank you to everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.